in one of your videos, you somehow got the founder of EA to come on board to talk. I have so many questions. First of all, how did you accomplish this?
So I googled the guy and I was curious, so I went to his personal website and there's a form you fill out for media, and I just filled that out, and then he just responded to me. he
That's
he was
it?
yeah, it was really easy.
I'm like, who does this guy know? How did he do this? Like, but wow, that's it. So, do you feel like when in their conversation, it's kind of interesting. He talks about the company being like this child that grew up and he's kind of disappointed in it. Do you feel like there was so much more he could have said and held back because I'm sure he's like signed a bunch of contracts, like non-disclosures and stuff?
Um, yeah, I think he definitely would want to be more critical, but he probably there's a lot of reasons why he couldn't be. But I definitely think it seems like every time he said something critical of EA, he'd follow it up with like, but they are very successful, and I'm proud of this or this or this. So I think deep down he thinks it's nothing like what he envisioned. It's made a lot of money, which I'm sure he's proud of, but like I don't think he said specifically the whole point of EA was to make simulation sports games. That was the whole point, and they don't do that.
What was your biggest takeaway from talking with him, and how long did you talk to him about FIFA and Madden and all the other EA franchises?
The full interview is on my second channel. That's all I talked to him about. I just recorded the start to finish. It was like 30 minutes. But
Is he working with EA in any capacity? Is he doing anything, or is he just collecting checks till till the day he dies?
no, he's not associated with EA like at all. I don't think.
Does he have like stocks? Anything? Nothing. He's no longer affiliated with
He
EA.
might. I'm sure he's bought stocks, but he's his name's no longer there. Like he's just not part of it anymore. He started it, and then he went on to form a 3DO, which was like one of the first
Of
like
course,
3D console.
Heroes Might and Magic was one of my favorite games that the studio made it. It was
Yeah,
like a turn-based strategy game.
it was also Need for Speed. What was first created for the 3DO. Lots of franchises were on 3DO, and then but he left EA when he made 3DO, and then eventually 3DO stopped making consoles. They became like a developer, and then that went down. So he has like his own company now. I don't know too much about it, but I don't think he's affiliated with EA at all. I don't even think they. I mean, I'm sure they probably invite him into their studio once in a while,
Right.
but that's probably
to
it.
to keep a nice PR look. Oh yeah, we're still cool with this guy.
Yeah,
I mean, if I had to guess, what happened was like as the company got bigger, the goals changed. He probably still wanted to make a genuine quality product that he's passionate about. When other people get involved in business, they say, well, that's a good idea, but let's not do too much. Let's make sure we keep like making money, and then eventually he kind of gets pushed out. If I had to guess, I would guess that's what happened to him.
probably. I'm sure his vision didn't align with the people who were working there, and that's probably why he left.
Do you think we're doomed to repeat this formula? Where this is, I mean, the way EA started was this guy who had a passion for making simulation games, making quality games. It was massively successful. It gets so massive. It gets so many people involved, so much money, and then the company starts kind of slacking. They don't innovate. They don't improve their game. They have a monopoly, so they don't have any incentive to improve. And then out of nowhere, you have a company like 2K that comes out, and you talk about 2K having amazing games in like the early 2000s, right? They are
Hmm.
passionate about the game. They make a quality product, and then they overtake EA, especially like in NBA. NBA Live no longer exists because 2K is just destroyed them, right?
Yeah,
Are we just in a lull phase? Are we gonna repeat this again with like another company coming in? Is this always the pattern?
I think if you're in a capitalist society and there's no competition, that's just a horrible situation where innovation is just not going to come. I think if the NFL, this kind of is the NFL's fault. If the NFL would open up their license and another company would compete with EA, I think they'd either make a better game or they'd push EA to make a better game. I think with competition, we'd have better games. The issue comes when you sign these exclusive rights agreements uh, then there's just no reason to improve because you're going to sell the game. I mean, if EA says they sold Madden more than they ever had before this year, and it's a terrible game, it just proves the point. If you're the only NFL game or the only game for a specific sport, why improve? There's no point. It's a waste of money because you're trying to make as much profit as possible. And if you put no money into the game, but you make millions and billions of dollars,
Right. That's the definition of good business.
yeah, that's. I mean, I don't want to get like political and like get people to like click off because they're all pissed and they love capitalism or whatever. But like, I feel like in a capitalist society, greed is rewarded and maximizing profits is rewarded. And for a video game, that's as if a company gets bigger, I feel like the quality of the game is going to get worse over time because they're just trying to maximize profits and please shareholders as much as possible with money.
Right. But this doesn't actually happen. I mean, I think this is very interesting because it doesn't necessarily happen in other genres, right? Because the simulation space is very unique because the main kind of appeal of the product is these licenses, these facial animations, this likeness, right? Like, why doesn't Naughty Dog just say, "Hey, we don't want to innovate. We don't want to, well, we don't want to try making a quality game." But they have to. They're in this very open field, right?
I think with a non-sports game, you're competing with all the other games. You're competing with, like, if Naughty Dog released a horrible game,
Yeah.
no one's gonna buy it because it's a bad game.
Right.
They're competing for your time with all the other publishers making games for PlayStation and Xbox and whatnot. When it comes to sports games, people who like sports will buy the game no matter what. I think this issue is specifically for sports games or games that use a license, like Star Wars games, for example. Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars fans were going to buy that no matter what because EA has exclusive rights to making Star Wars games. So it's when you have a license to something that is very popular, I think that is where this issue comes from. When you're making a standalone game with like your own IP that you're trying to create, you're competing against all the other unique games out there in the sense where there's no like label attached to the game where people are going to buy it no matter what. The game has to be good.